Hello everybody, Hawk here. Today, let's take a look at the Waldorf Kyra. Thank you very much to Korg USA and Waldorf for sending me a unit to review. Really appreciate that. This is an amazing device, and as most of you know, Waldorf is very well known for its synthesizers, going all the way back to the PBG wave back in 1981. So I'm not going to get into the whole synthesis engine on this, and besides, there are plenty of other YouTube videos that cover this in depth. What I want to talk about today is the Kyra's superpower. That's right, I said the Kyra's superpower. What is its superpower? It can function as a sound card. So you can actually stream audio into your DAW directly from Kyra. Your DAW's audio can come back out and be heard out of Kyra. It functions as a sound card, but it's a lot more than just a sound card. You've got 8 audio streams, stereo audio streams, coming at 96 kilohertz, coming from this directly into your DAW program. So basically, that and all of its synthesizing capabilities, you've got like this massive synthesizer DSP farm. So if you're doing any type of synth-based electronic music, this puppy right here, wow, it gives you a lot of power directly into your DAW's workflow. So I want to go ahead and take a close look at how this is all set up, how it functions with your DAW program, and let's really put it through its paces and do some music with it. So here we go. Okay, I just plugged in Kyra via the USB 2.0 port right here in the back, and it showed right up in my MIDI studio. Here it is, the Waldorf Kyra in my MIDI studio. That's for MIDI. You're going to need both the MIDI connection here and the USB Soundcard Mode enabled in order to have audio and MIDI data. So inside of Kyra, we go to System, and there it is right there, Soundcard Mode. So if we scroll down here, we can turn the Soundcard Mode on or off. There it is, disabled or on, enabled. And the audio streaming is set to 96 kilohertz. It can be 48 kilohertz or 96 kilohertz. That's selected in your DAW of choice. Let's jump over to my DAW here at the moment, which is Reason. And if we go to the preferences, we'll see that there is my Waldorf Kyra selected as the sound card or the audio device. And I can choose 48 or 96 kilohertz and my buffer size. So pretty straightforward. It showed right up after I plugged it in via USB, it showed right up. So let's talk about how the Kyra is organized. Press the exit button here to get back to the main patch window here. The Kyra is organized by multis, and there are 127 multis available. So you'll see the multi there, and there are the different multis, 127 of these. So let's go to a multi that I have set up here, which is multi 2. And under each multi, you can have up to 8 parts. Right now we're on part 4. So there are the different parts. There are the different patches in each part. And each part, as you notice, can have its own MIDI channel right there. So, and you can choose any patch you want for each part. The patch selections are 26 banks here. There's the patch 14 in bank A, and I can go to a different bank here, bank B. There are 26 of these banks, and each bank contains up to 127 patches for a whopping 3,302 patches to choose from. I think that should be enough patches, I think. And each part inside of this multi can play up to 32 voices. So that's 32 voices per part, 8 parts per multi, for a possible total of up to 256 voices across all parts. That is a heck of a lot of polyphony to work with. So using the Soundcard mode, each one of these parts can be addressed by a MIDI channel, and then that part is automatically routed out to one of 8 stereo outputs. So stereo outputs 1, 2 through 15, 16. And if I look over here inside of Reason, we can see that these are the MIDI tracks here, and each MIDI track is set to a different MIDI channel, channel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the audio tracks inputs are set here, and there's the Kyra, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up through 15, 16 stereo inputs, right? And now I can select one of these tracks, or record arm one of these MIDI tracks, and play whatever's assigned to that part. So this particular case here, we got a bass, and then the next one here, we'll choose the next one, and we'll hear some sort of pad sound. You notice the bass sound didn't change here. That's because we're still looking at part 1. But if I want to go to part 2 and see what's on part 2, I select that. That's what we're listening to, is the Vox Humana. And then let's go to the next one here. So this would be MIDI channel 3. So come over here and see what that is. That's Bellissima. And then go to the next one. The next one is Arpora. We'll select the next MIDI track. And so on. You get the idea. Working this way is incredibly convenient, and just having the whole ability to have this function as a sound card allows you to very quickly and easily fold this into your DAW workflow. So Kyra's Arpeggiator section right here is amazing. And if you're working with your DAW, you're going to want to be able to send the Arpeggiator MIDI clock from your DAW. So that's done right here. Select the Arpeggiator and scroll down to the next page. And there it is right there. There's the tempo is 90 BPM internal. And we want to change that right there, the internal, to MIDI clock. So if we change that to MIDI clock, we would select MIDI, and there it is. And of course, once you set the MIDI clock coming in to the Kyra, you want to make sure that your DAW program is outputting MIDI clock. In this case, with Reason, we go sync, and there's our output to the MIDI Kyra right there. And we close that, and then we turn it on down here. So there it is, send MIDI clock. And now, if we exit this and we play something on the keyboard, we've got the arpeggiator. So that's how you can clock the arpeggiator to your DAW. The other thing you might want to clock is the delays. The effects section in here is fantastic. Very, very lush and expressive. And to get to the delays, scroll down to the delays here. right there. And then we want to set our clock here, which up here is on the next page down. And right now it's set to internal. So we'll just change that to MIDI. And there it is. Now our delays will be clocked to our DAW program. Each one of these settings, whether we enabled the arpeggiator, whatever we do with the effects, is on a patch by patch basis, which means that all of this, the effects engine and the arpeggiators, can be saved with each patch. So each of the 8 parts in here can have its own arpeggiator and effects settings. And to do that, after you turn something like this on, we'll want to be able to save it. So just make sure that you are set here to patch, and then hit store, and hit store again to save it. And if you want to save your multi, just hit the multi button here, hit store, and save your multi patch. So this whole synthesizer, the way it's designed, is incredibly intuitive and easy to use. Pretty much turn any knob or button and you're going to be right there. The whole LED just, the whole screen right here, the LED screen just updates immediately and you're right there. I love that. Very, very intuitive and easy to use. I hardly needed to look at the manual at all. I just dove right in. So there you have it. That's how you set up the Waldorf Kyra's audio streaming capabilities to your DAW program, complete with full MIDI control, including MIDI sync input capabilities. It's really, really quite amazing and innovative, I would say. The one problem I had when I was using this is that after I recorded all my synthesizer parts, I was like, gee, I think I'd like to add some guitar in. And then I was like, oh, it doesn't have an audio input. I guess I have to render the audio coming out of this to actual audio tracks and then switch over to another audio interface in order to get my guitar input. So that would be nice if there could be, at the very least, an audio input on here, maybe on one of those combi connectors that would allow you to have a microphone input or a line input, or even just a line input would be fine, actually. And you could also be able to take advantage of the filter and everything in here if you had an audio input. So that would be really nice. And that said, I am really amazed that you can actually hear the sound of your DAW program coming back out of Kyra's audio outputs. So whatever virtual instruments you have inside of your DAW program, you can play those and hear them coming out of Kyra as well. I didn't do that in my demo here because I just wanted to focus on the Kyra's engine, but it's all there. I mean, it has all of the inputs coming from Kyra and the outputs coming from your DAW. You just don't have an audio input from the external world if you want to add, for example, a guitar input or a microphone input. So that's, you can work around that, but something to be aware of for sure. In terms of the interface, I love the interface. I really wish that the increment, decrement buttons here, that there was like a nice big data entry dial here instead, because these are kind of slow. There's so much data in here, being able to scroll through all the banks and all the patches. Just a data entry wheel that you could spin would be really appreciated. So everything else about this unit really pretty much put a smile on my face, except for, I would have to say, I think the price tag is pretty hefty. Yes, it is amazing sounding, but at nearly $2,300, that's a lot of money to pay for this synthesizer, considering when you can just buy little virtual instruments one-offs for $300 or less. So it's expensive. So you have to make the decision as to whether this is something that's important to you in terms of having the hands-on control, the streaming capabilities. It is a serious DSP synthesis DSP farm, and if the focus of your music production is a whole lot of synthesis, this is the baby. But it comes with a hefty price tag. And on top of that, the suggestions I just made, having audio input and a data entry wheel on there, would probably increase the price tag more. So I don't know. Well, having said all that, really, the bottom line is, let's take a listen to what it sounds like in use with its full 8 audio outputs streaming. And that was a lot of sound. It took me a lot to be able to figure out like how to use all of those 8 audio outputs, including MIDI patch changes, so that a single audio output could give me more than one sound on a track. So let's take a look and a listen to that in this demo coming up here. And we'll just close the video off with the demo of Kyra being used in a DAW program with all the streaming audio in play. And I'll keep the compression and the EQ light, and I won't add any reverb, just so that we're just hearing all 8 channels of the Kyra coming out into my DAW through its USB connection. And so having said that, as usual, if you enjoy what I'm doing on this channel, please subscribe. If you're feeling so inspired, pick up a music producer t-shirt, and I'll see you on the flip side. Let's get into the music. See you guys soon. Ciao.